I go Ladies Lounge Health and Wellness Show.
Hi there, ladies. We're back for another episode. My name is Chido. I'm here with Kuzi and Praise, and I'm thrilled that you've taken time out of your day to listen to this podcast as we tackle a question that's on the minds of so many modern women. Can a woman have it all? We talked about this last week. Just a little recap. We talked about what does having it all mean. We talked about different gender roles and what affects a modern woman, the challenges they're going through, and we're just picking it up on that. So, how are you doing, ladies?
I'm good.
Okay, they're good. So we're gonna pick it up from motherhood and family pressures, which is another challenge that the modern woman can face or is facing. I'm not a mother myself, which is why I've got two mothers here to talk about that. Please talk to me about the mom guilt phenomenon. Like, on a day-to-day, how guilty do you feel just being a mom, leaving your children at home? What does that look like?
It's real. That's all I can say. It's real. Mom guilt is real.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can come in different forms.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, when the baby's young, like I have to go back to work, or even I found with clients and patients I've dealt with, mom guilt of not being able to breastfeed. So some have struggled with breastfeeding, having enough milk. So then the choice to switch to like formula and that comes with guilt for some women.
Yeah.
Like, so am I inadequate? Am I not doing the best for my baby? So that's one form of mom guilt. When you now have to go back to work, or some even have to separate in terms of leaving the country, then leaving the young children behind. Mom guilt. Once they start school and they've got activities, you can't be there. Mom guilt. Right?
So this is a day-to-day apparently.
It can be a day-to-day. It really can. I don't know, Praise.
There's the constant scrutiny. Everybody's always watching. You did that wrong. You did, especially for the first time mothers. Oh my God, it's
everyone has an
hell.
opinion.
They know everything, and you know nothing.
Yes.
You definitely know nothing. And you always have to stand your ground sometimes. You get to a point where you say, you know what, if this baby is going to die because I'm not giving any porridge, let them die because I'm just going to give milk. And it becomes a very, very unstable ground. So the guilt of saying people are expecting this, but you can deliver this, and you're also learning the whole process. It doesn't come with a manual. So at the end of the day, the scrutiny is something else. But you just have to learn to stand your ground and to research. Understand what others have experienced, and the group social groups they do help a lot because you get encouragement. Sometimes you're like, oh my God, so I didn't go to the child when she was crying. But you then hear someone saying, you know what, I was bathing and she woke up and started crying. You get some consolation somehow. So the guilt gets a little bit less. But I think it is a real thing where we have got social scrutiny and also the balancing of needs. Ooh, can a woman have it all, hey? Because the husband has his needs. The baby has its own needs. You yourself. And that's if you have one baby. What if you've got 3 or 4? And we have the in-laws. So at the end of the day, the guilt of not being able to balance it all. And you have work. You are going to work, you're leaving the baby. All those things. And you're like, I just need to earn $1.
Definitely.
So it can be taxing a lot.
Okay. Another challenge is the mental load and burnout. There's definitely an invisible labor, right, of managing a household whilst you're at work, managing relationships, and then having your own life with, your goals and things that you want to do. Would you say that at some point you went crazy? Like, okay, we're using the word crazy very loosely. We're talking about mental health issues now.
Yeah.
Would you say on a mental health spectrum, it gets a little wonky?
Yeah, everything becomes a little bit blurry when you haven't slept well in a long time.
Of course.
So yeah, I think the mental load is really heavy for women. I think, last couple of months, there's been a great focus on men and like men's mental load because they don't talk. So I think also sometimes because women, we talk, we just start to brush it off a little because she talks to her family, she talks to her sisters, but then I think we start to underestimate how heavy that mental load is. It's huge. Like I said, for me it was the lack of sleep. Initially, when you've got a baby and they wake up through the night. When I first had my first baby, I was told sleep when the baby sleeps, and I thought, right?
I'll get other things to do.
And the baby sleeps during the day, and then and then you've got visitors, and they're like, yeah. But I think I got to within that first week, I think day 6, right? I literally really felt like I was losing my mind. And that's when anything can happen now. You can drop the baby. There's baby shaking syndrome where women have shaken their babies out of frustrated. And I really was like, I'm losing my mind. Because lack of sleep can really drive you there, right? So I have felt on the brink of losing my mind. And then as time goes on, the mental load from every aspect, the groups that you are trying to manage that need your attention. If you signed up for something at church, and you have to manage that. If you are trying to go to school, you have to manage that. We've talked about work, the pressures of work, and if you're not satisfied with your career being in a certain place and you want to push your career, so the mental load, I think it just piles up. It's one thing after another. Then you start to question should I be doing all of this? Do I need to be doing all of this? And then that's when I think episode 1 we talked about priorities. You now need to think, okay, what is my priority right now? Because it will drive you crazy. It will.
Definitely.
And I feel like for women, it's even worse because we cannot turn our brains off. I don't want to use the word multitask because that's impossible, but we've always got something to think about. Yes, I'm working on a report, but my baby needs this. I need to buy diapers after work. I need to do this, and then mom called, and then there's this, and then there's an emergency, and we never get to not be thinking about anything, which is where probably for those who probably say, okay, maybe my kids are grown, still have this sort of insomnia that hits them now and again, because even when I'm back from work, my mind still churns and churns and churns because there's so much to do and apparently, in quotes, so little time.
And there's one elephant that we are leaving out. Body image.
Ooh.
I think that needs a episode on its own.
That one, it's like you went through changes over the 9 months, and you're still going through changes after the 9 months. So it can be weight gain or weight loss, and sometimes, you gain weight during pregnancy. And after, people are expecting you to lose that weight, and not over time, like magic, you're supposed to just go back to where you are. Or some, they comment, the social pressure. Hey, you're afraid of breastfeeding. That's why you're slimming down. It just becomes a lot. And yes, you do definitely lose your mind. Because you're afraid, okay, fine. So if I was slimmer, now I've gained weight, is he gonna leave me? And if I'm continuously gaining weight, people are going to say that I'm not breastfeeding, I'm not taking care of my baby. So that guilt, everything it's a train smash.
It is.
So yeah,
Thanks for bringing that one up, Praise. I actually have my own trauma from body image. Like mine wasn't so much the what people can see. Not to get into too much detail, but you know, there are two ways of having a baby, right? There's the natural old way of pushing out the baby, then there's the Caesar way where they cut out the baby. So I've had my babies naturally, but the first baby I had, right, you know, if you know some things tear, they don't always go back to where they were, or you think, you know, and that can really start to affect your self-esteem.
yes, it does.
Especially with your partner, like, okay, what is it going to be like in the future? And we can start talking about intimacy and things like that. But yeah, it definitely does affect you mentally for a while. And, you know, that's where you have to really make sure, ladies, choose a good partner, the right partner, who will affirm you, who will still love you and support you in a way that you need. Because when you are physically changing and have changed, right, is your partner, like what Praise is saying, are they gonna be like, you're not the person I married, right? Like literally, or are they gonna be like, you know what, this is natural what has happened to you, thank you for giving me my babies, I still love you, I still appreciate you. That's really important, really. So choose right, ladies, because it can really affect you, and you might not be able to come back from that.
Especially when you experience urine incontinence.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I think we need to
gone
call
there?
a gynae, because these things.
We're definitely gonna have to have a gynecologist on this show.
And that's other things I wish the older women had warned me about.
You know,
Like, listen, when you have a baby, things can go left, right? Physically can go left.
But there's a tip for you single ladies like myself. Tip number 1, choose the right partner.
Yeah.
This is a
Amen.
life or death situation. You know, it's gonna make or break you. So make sure you get the right person. I know. I'm saying that as if it's easy as ABC. Listen, I'm with you. I'm in the streets with y'all. I get the struggle, but this is a good thing to have at the back of your head. Is this person gonna be with me, you know, when things get tough? Not just things like outside things, but like me myself, when I start changing, you know, and the baby comes, is this person able to go through that and still be the person that I'm married to? So yeah, we're gonna take a break because I need to self-introspect. Definitely, and then we'll come back shortly. Hi ladies, we're back, and if you're just joining us, we're talking about, can a woman have it all? Have you ever wondered if that's possible? So we're exploring this intriguing topic today, and we're gonna get into how can you have it all, because we've been talking about the challenges that we faced, you know, with work and with culture and with the gender roles and etc. But now we want to answer the question, can anyone truly have it all? I feel like the first point there is you need to define your version of having it all.
Yeah.
Because it's not a one size fits all, like we've seen here. Kuzi has her own, Praise has her own, I have my own journey. And I need to know that I cannot walk Kuzi's journey. She's had experience. Yes, she can give me a little bit of advice here and there, but my journey is solely my own. So my definition of success is important. My definition of fulfillment is important. What's another thing?
Well, embracing authenticity under that same bracket of defining your success. So you need to be real with yourself.
Okay.
Be very real to say, here I am. Is it possible for me to get the masters, or is it possible for me to have a second born?
Kuzi hasn't been here, but she knows Praise is always talking about be real, be realistic with yourself. Because I'm always talking about I want to have a Bugatti, and she's like, yeah, but is that realistic?
Well, at some point it's going to be, just not today.
Just
but
not now.
Exactly. So that then helps to say that you've defined to say, you know what, this is going to be my success, or my goal, or this is what I want to achieve. And you are real with yourself to say, right now, I cannot. I have hopes for the future, yes, but right now I cannot. And then you have to understand your limitations.
Yeah.
Under that, when you are setting your goal, you have to understand limitations. What's limiting you from getting it? Can you go around it, or it's going to be your full stop? That way, at least you help yourself mentally. You don't get that pressure and go cuckoo.
Okay. So in other words, and I'll direct this to Kuzi, having it all means something's got to be sacrificed along the way. Something has to be traded off, right?
Yeah, I think definitely we spoke about evolution. Yes, something has to be sacrificed, but I don't think it has to be sacrificed forever. You may be moving your timelines around. But like what you said, what is your definition of having it all? For me, I know that at this particular stage in my life, I'm not going to do A, B, C, and D, or I'm going to do something else differently. You know, maybe at this stage, I'm going to focus on, you know, the young kids. Maybe when they're older, then I'll look into advancing my career in another way, or I'll become leadership in church or something like that. So yeah, I think it has to be like, you know, our wellness wheel that we sometimes have, where maybe here it's 60%, there it's 80%, this area is 90%. I think you have to find the balance for you. 100% everywhere. For me personally, I can't do that.
Not possible.
Right. It's not possible. But if I have to partition that, okay, at this period of time, I'm going to give 100% here, 60% here, 50% here. And I think that comes to also communication now, right? Communicating where you are, what your priorities are, what your possibilities are with the rest of like your family and your support group and things like that, so that they understand that, listen, you know, like your in-laws, hopefully they understand, like, I can't do A, B, C, and D at the moment, you know. Even with your employer, okay, listen, I can't do, this is overwhelming me, or I don't have the capacity. Like your partner, like we said, your partner, you have to communicate, like, I can do A, B, C, and D. So communication is important. Having a good support structure that understands where you are is also important.
So that speaks to now redefining your priorities. And that's an important one, I feel like, for every level of womanhood, whether you're single, you're in a relationship, you're a mom, you're a grandmother. This applies to everyone, because like Kuzi's saying, you can't be 100% all the way in everything that you do. You have to definitely have priorities. And then she talked about also, she did put it in there, like, communicate your boundaries as well. And I know Praise and I are always harping on these, ladies, and maybe by this time you're now tired of it, but this is how you manage being a woman. Just opt out of certain things that you cannot do at that particular moment. You cannot be at every family celebration being the super makoti, cooking mabodos. You cannot be, you know, at every Christmas party at work. You cannot be with your friends all the time. You know, it's about priorities and about communicating your boundaries. Opt out of things that you feel like at that point in time, they're not that they're not important, but like, I can do that thing later. Yes. And then communicate that, like you're saying. So whilst we're there, like, how feasible is it that you can normalize shared domestic responsibilities with your partner? Of course, it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah,
but
it's not
I would
a
like to hear
one
your opinion.
I think having these conversations prior to making your partnership permanent is important. Like, when you're dating someone, I think you should be able to pick up who you're dating, what kind of person they are. Yes, sometimes people change. It does happen. But knowing them, like, listen, when we're married, can our lives be like A, B, C, and D? And then also how they're raised. For me, my husband, they were raised in a family where the boys also did chores. They did. So when we're at home and our fantastic helper is not there, he does the dishes. He does. He actually sometimes prefers to do them because he thinks he does it better than anybody else, right? But that's because that's the way he was raised. So I'm grateful for that. So you really have to have these conversations. I mean, in other aspects, I do have to, which is a mental load in itself, I do have to ask, like, please may you bath the kids tonight before they go to bed. So it's just conversations you have to have in a respectful way, in a loving way. Like, listen, I've come from work, I'm a bit exhausted. Would you mind getting the kids? Oh, please may you get the kids ready for bed. So I think we're still in a society where you do to some extent have to drag your partner along. Right? True. But then that's the way it is. I think it's better to have the conversations than to just bottle it in and keep it in. Yes. So I think it's just work in progress. You have to work with your partner. You know what your household is. You have to keep pushing little by little. When it does get frustrating, yes, go find somewhere to blow off some steam. Yeah. And come back, because you just have to take it day by day, little by little.
I do appreciate that. You know what? There are those chores that are not gender specific. You know, it's our children. You should just bat them. You know. But at the end of the day, the funny thing is, somebody expects gratitude for it. You do it. They don't say thank you. But when they do it, you have to say thank you. You did watch the babies. So yes, I do understand it shouldn't be like that. But I think for the communication channel to be open, and also to encourage the other gender to take part in this, we also need to put some gratitude text into it.
Put some incentive.
Yes.
But I think there's a challenge to those raising young men right now. We need to raise them how you want your daughter to be treated in her relationship in the future. True. So mom boys, boy moms.
Are
we gonna stay positive, eh?
Yeah.
It's okay, we have to thank them, but we just have to be positive to say, you know what, we have pushed through this. At least this is done. What next? Yeah.
And the last thing, which I think Kuzi also touched on a little bit, is like when you need to vent or when you need to like just go somewhere. Self-care, ladies. Yes. Self-care is a thing. Please prioritize yourself, prioritize your health. What are some of the ways? Like, I've got a lot. So I will not, you guys will judge me on how much money I spend on my self-care. So let's hear from the young mothers here. What do you guys do like for self-care?
God. I haven't gotten to that part yet.
Okay.
Honestly speaking, I haven't been able to get to a point where I'm like self-care. For now, it's like my mind is glued on this little thing. Like, so I wouldn't give a very honest opinion on that.
Yeah, self-care. Okay, so I created a system to help keep me sane. Right? So from early on with my first one, I taught her, got her into a habit of being comfortable at my mom's house with her gogo, with her grandmother. Right? So even when she was breastfeeding, I could leave her one night, Friday night, and she'd be fine. She'd sleep through the night, not give gogo any problems, nothing. And then during the day, she'd have like her express breast milk or whatever it is. I'm starting to do that with the boy. I mean, boys are, I think, a little bit more clingy, but I managed to make sure that almost every Friday, I'll take my kid after work. I'll take her to Gogo's house, leave her there overnight, collect her later on Saturday, right? And that gave me one time for myself. Whether hanging out with the girls, I love manicures and pedicures. They make me feel so good. Either getting that or being able to sleep in, or if I don't sleep in, I like being outdoors. So like running was my thing. Still my thing when I've got time. But like that made me feel good, right? And that was my self-care. So at first people thought I was crazy, but it really helped. Like I love my babies, but I just needed time for myself, right? And other times on Friday night, that would become date night for me and my husband, because we also need that time where there's no little people screaming around us, mama, dada. So, and it's important to maintain that connection with your partner. So that was my cheat code. Friday night, there's a famous singer who sang it. Wana kwa gogo.
I'm definitely taking notes.
That's a great tip. Yeah, I think generally the sentiment would be take time out for yourself. Find ways. I mean, even if it started an hour for yourself, build it up to 2, 6, 12, 24, make sure that you're taking time out to do the things that you love. Reconnect with your friends. Have a community that now requires you to have a community of people that are supporting you. Because I feel like if you're a woman in this world, whether single, married, pregnant, mother, whatever, you definitely do need a community of people surrounding you so that sometimes they can pick up the slack for you when you really need to take time for yourself. So identify those people if you haven't. Self-introspect into, am I tired because I'm not giving away some, we won't call it delegating, but do you get it? Are you giving yourself enough time to recuperate, refill your glass? Because again, you cannot pour from an empty glass. So take time to refill, to refresh. Any other closing thoughts on that one?
Well, I have got this song that's popping and dancing in my head. Well, it's because it's misunderstood when they say it's a man's world, but at the end of it, they say it would be nothing without a woman.
Yep.
So it's good to be a woman.
Yeah. So we encourage you to reach out if you're having, problems scheduling. If you're having problems, you're overwhelmed with your life. You know what? Being a woman takes a lot from you. So we as your wellness coaches, we're available. Email igo@simas.co.zw. Make sure that you pop in for a session. And also leave your comments in the comment section. Share your personal stories, something to inspire somebody else on how you're managing being a modern woman and with the challenges that you have, and are you working towards having it all, and how that journey is going. Thank you so much for coming through. Until next time, bye-bye.
Take care.
Igo Ladies Lounge Health and Wellness Show.